What's going on, YouTube? R to the double E dash to the ZON coming at you once again, baby. And I know it's been a minute since I've been done a video. You guys haven't seen me in a while. That's because I've been going through a lot of personal shit in my own life, man. But by God's grace, everything's turned out good, and I'm here, man. So I wanted to make a video, man, because in the last couple of days, I've been going back on YouTube and looking at old videos. What I mean by old videos, I mean old press conferences at E3s from years past, primarily Nintendo's. And I discovered something, man. Y'all know, if you know me or you watch my videos, you know that the Nintendo 64 is by far my favorite console of all time. And I will murder anyone who tries to debate me on it being the best console of all time. I will bury you, and it would not even be close. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just another story. But I started thinking, I said, man, if the N64 is that crown jewel for me, what's my second favorite console? And so I went through my entire console collection of over 14 consoles and looked at them and played some of them, and I just came to the conclusion, I mean, and not just Nintendo, Sony, Sega, you name it. And I came to the conclusion that my second favorite console of all time, if we're not talking about the N64, then my favorite console after that is the Nintendo Wii. Now I know some of y'all out there who are hardcore gamers are sitting there saying, well, how could he say the Wii? How could he say the Wii is his second favorite console of all time? That was a toy. That had a bunch of garbage games. That didn't have the graphics or power of the PS3 or the 360. Let me talk to you right quick. First of all, the Nintendo Wii, for its shitty name, because it is a shitty name. I hate the name. I understand what they were going for, but I hate the fucking name. But for all that, for its garbage name, for its lack of technological, graphical processing power compared to the 360 and PS3, for its relative lack of online compared to the two, and all the other features that the other two brought along, the Nintendo Wii was, man, it's not even a debate, was a far better gaming console than those other two. And before I get into the whys and hows, I was watching E3 2006 for Nintendo, and I noticed something, man. Back then, Nintendo had a little something I like to call swag, okay? And they had no reason to have swag because they had just spent 2 generations in last place. But that didn't bother them because they knew they had something revolutionary on their hands. They knew they had something that was gonna fucking change the gaming landscape forever, just as the Nintendo 64 changed the gaming landscape forever. When Nintendo 64 showed off Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64 in gorgeous, brilliant 3D for the first time, a truly three-dimensional, 360-degree control game, it changed everything forever. When the Nintendo Wii showed up and showed us that motion controls were not only possible but intuitive and far better than traditional analog sticks, when done right, it changed the gaming landscape forever. And notice that the ones, if you really go back, even Sony and Microsoft fanboys, you know what I'm saying? When I say fanboys, I'm not talking about asinine, retarded drones. I'm talking about fanboys. I mean, I'm a fanboy. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Everybody's a fanboy. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. I'm not fanboys. Yes, you are. If you have a preferred console, you are a fanboy of that console. You may not be an asinine drone that just, you know, spits and breathes and lives that console, but that is your preferred system. I'm a fanboy. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Now, if you are honest with yourself, Sony and Microsoft fanboys, you will know that Nintendo has always been the one, at least up until this point, has always been the one to bring something fresh, innovative, and new to the table, and that Sony and Microsoft usually either copy it right away or deny it and say it's nothing, until it ends up being something big, and then they say, shit, we gotta do it too, and then they go and they buy it. And anyways, that's been the pattern. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'll debate that with anybody. You've seen it throughout history. You know what I'm saying? So the Wii brought something to the table that nobody had ever seen, that nobody had thought was ever possible. Amazing that this little white box with maybe half, if even that much, maybe a third of the power of these 2 giant HD Leviathans with online gaming and all this, with a third of that power, completely stomped a mud hole in them. And if you go back and you say, yeah, but that was just because a lot of soccer moms and kids bought it and then they never bought any games. Well, if you go back and you look at E3 2008 or 2009, 2 to 3 years after launch, Reggie put some freaking data from MPD up on the screen that shuts all y'all up. That not only were the Wii's selling, but people were buying plenty of games for them. And the Wii had actually sold more games and copies of games up until that point in its launch, 2 or 3 years out, even faster and more than the PS2. So that's a bullshit argument. Did it attract a bunch of quote unquote casuals and families and soccer moms and even old people? Yes. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with expanding the gaming audience? Because I got news for you. Had the Wii not done that, we would have been heading for another crash just like in the early 80s, where the NES saved our ass. Well, the Wii came here and expanded the audience, and all of a sudden the industry grew humongously. Even Sony and Microsoft CEOs will attest to that. Nintendo has always been the one that comes out and saves the industry. Anyways, this right here was revolutionary. It is not your traditional controller. People saw this the first time, myself included, and freaked out like, holy shit, Nintendo has lost their goddamn mind. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with this. But if you notice, it can be played sideways like a traditional NES controller, giving you a little bit of tradition. It could be played just regular with the motion controls as a Wii remote, or it could be attached to a separate nunchuck, which added your joystick for your analog, your 3D games, and your Z and C buttons on the back. So connecting these two, and both of them with their individual motion sensing accelerometers, gave you an unprecedented amount of control and freehand control. You weren't tied to having your two hands on this controller. You could have one hand up here swinging a sword while the other hand is down there with the nunchuck as a shield. Shit like that was just revolutionary, had never been done. You know what I'm saying? So it gave a level of immersion that was never possible before the Wii came out. Now I got a stack. For those who say the Wii didn't have any great games, look here. You see that? That's about half of my Nintendo Wii library. The only reason I brought out half is because these are the halves that I consider must-have games. The others are good games and fun games, but not must-have, not amazing titles. Every gaming library is like that. I'm going to go through some of these games and just show you and talk to you about what made this library of games beat the shit out of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Before you call me a drone, a Nintendo drone, I have a PS3 with over 30 games, okay? And they're all great games. But the library just doesn't stack up to what we had, okay? So let's just go through it. First of all, I just finished playing this one a few minutes ago. Red Steel 2. Using the Wii Motion Plus technology, with more accurate motion detecting, motion sensing. Bro, this game was one-to-one motion done perfectly. Just amazing. Everything you did on screen, with your hands on screen, was reflected in the way you moved your katana sword or you shot your gun. I mean, man, the graphical style was beautiful, proving that the Wii didn't need the technological just mountain that the PS3 or 360 had to make some great visuals. This game had beautiful graphics, an amazing art style, crystal clear, solid frame rate, just an amazing first-person shooter / action adventure in which you could wield a katana sword and a firearm at the same time and just combo them up, man. It was amazing. Okay, and the control, like I said, man, some people never played Red Steel or played the original, and the original was mediocre, so they were like, oh, I'm not gonna worry about the second one. So the second one is a must-have. It was what the first one should have been and more. Just fucking amazing. Second, Mario Strikers Charge. This is Mario Soccer, basically. Extreme crazy arcade style soccer in the Mario universe with the Mario characters and locales, with a great online component that I used to just go crazy on. Great graphics, just Fast and Furious Mario action. Control with the Wiimote and nunchuck. There was very little motion use in this game, except you could swing the Wii remote to knock someone out. But other than that, it was just a fun arcade soccer game. And there is a GameCube version, but this one's called Charged because I guess I forgot what the reason why. I think it was extra characters and arenas or stuff like that in the online mode. Either way, it was an addictive game that me and my wife could not put down. And I also had friends come over and we would just go ballistic on that. Next, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. This was one of the first Final Fantasy games on a Nintendo console in a long ass time before the Wii came out. It was an amazing action-adventure title. There had a couple RPG elements in there, but it played very much like a Zelda as far as the scope, how big the worlds were, third-person view. Great graphics, beautiful graphics. This game showed off some of the power of the Wii that people said it didn't have. And you could use the motion controls on the Wiimote to control the Crystal Bear's powers, were kind of like Jedi powers, where he could just like grab stuff from the distance and just like, telekinetically fling it at people, and you would be using the Wii remote to do all that in a 3D action adventure. Bro, it was amazing. Next, we have Mario Kart Wii. This is one of the best Mario Kart installments in the entire franchise. The sickest online mode on any Wii game is on this. Battle, racing, 12 people at the same time from all over the world. Great graphics, a tremendous track list of both new and classic tracks, I mean, man, it came with the Wii wheel peripheral, which actually was pretty fun. I don't really game with it now, but it was a fun add-in that changed up the game, especially for some beginners. It can be controlled with the Wii wheel, can be controlled with the Wiimote or Wiimote nunchuck combination, as well as also GameCube controllers and Wii Classic controller. So Nintendo always gave you a myriad of options, whereas the competition really didn't give you much to pick from. Next, Endless Ocean, the original. This was an epic game for me, man. This is like my Pilot Wings. My favorite game of all time is Pilot Wings on the N64. And people say, why? That game didn't really have a story. Exactly. Freedom to explore and do what you want at your heart's content. This is what this game offers. Beautiful visuals that even though they're not in HD and 480p, they look amazing. All the animals look lifelike and move lifelike. And it's just a scuba diving simulator where you go and explore sunken ships and reefs and things of that nature using the Wiimote. Just a Wiimote, and it's motion controlled in the sense that where you aim is where you're swimming. Very relaxing, very amazing. I mean, it's just a great game, man. Next, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed Wii Edition. It's not really called Wii Edition, I call it the Wii Edition. This to me is the definitive version for where the 360 and PS3 had the amazing graphics. Beautiful. And even some extra content that this one didn't have. This one, with the motion controls, using the Wiimote to swing your lightsaber any which way you want it. Stab, thrust, up, down, left, right. And using the nunchuck to use your force powers, like force push, or you can grip something with the nunchuck, pick them up in the air and just fling them wherever you wanted, like you were a real Jedi. That feeling of immersion and that feeling of, wow, I'm doing what a Jedi really would do, as opposed to pressing some buttons on a traditional controller that we've been doing for 20 years, made all the difference in the world. Graphics weren't as great. The graphics are decent enough. But it was just an amazing title. The immersion. As Reggie said in that press conference, it really is all about the feel of the game, not the look. The look is secondary. You know what I'm saying? So, amazing game there. Next, Super Paper Mario. Played with the Wiimote turned on its side like an NES with the D-pad and the 1 and 2 button, like a traditional NES game. Amazing graphics, beautiful game, beautiful graphics, great gameplay as far as the paper powers and all that. And it's just a Mario RPG title. It's amazing, it's fun, and it was the newest installment. Next, one of the definitive first-person shooters on the Wii, and really of that generation. I don't care what people say. It is The Conduit by Sega. This game had an unprecedented control system. With the motion, I mean, this game came as close to keyboard and mouse functionality for a first-person shooter on a console as you can get. The Wiimote and nunchucks show up their star power in this game, and the fully customizable. You can customize the sensitivity, the dead box zone, or where your Wiimote is, horizontal, vertical, everything you can customize to your liking. Had an amazing online component, beautiful graphics, especially for a Wii title. I mean, it was just epic, man. I still play this to this day. It's just amazing. Super Mario Galaxy 2, quite possibly the best game, or second best game, of last generation. A Mario 3D action-adventure platformer, done by Tokyo EAD, Nintendo. Man, amazing graphics, amazing worlds, incredible gameplay. I mean, dude, you couldn't beat it. Endless Ocean 2, the sequel to Endless Ocean, better in every single way. Graphically, content-wise, story-wise, animal content, unlockables. Just a great exploration title, man. Again, motion control. In this case, I have the original Wii Sports. We don't even need to talk about Wii Sports. Wii Sports revolutionized the gaming landscape, man. The fact that you could swing your tennis racket as you would in real life, or boxing, the baseball. I mean, all that. That was a perfect game that Nintendo used to pack in with the console to show you that it wasn't about graphics. It was about gameplay. And it worked. It's one of the best-selling games of all time, if I'm not mistaken. It might be the best, actually, I think. Anyways, man, that's my time. There's a part 2 coming right now. I got a stack of games still to go through, man, and more reasons why the Nintendo Wii is my second favorite console of all time. God bless y'all and stay gaming.